much money has this colorway of hat made for you?
I don't want to put an exact number to it. It's the most money we've ever made in 24 hours. He looks at me and he's like, I could either sue you or you can take on this company debt. So that flight back after getting broken into, after basically breaking up with your partner and them saying basically you're on your own and inheriting, like I would call it, let's just call it $1.5 million in debt.
Who's DMing your girl?
Oh my God.
Like crazy celeb, bro. I see on your close friends, crazy celebrity, like crazy athletes.
Weren't you just listening to this guy's album? Or like,
oh my God.
So like playlists are ruined. I can't watch F1. I can't watch a lot of soccer games. Like,
welcome to the Superline Playbook.
We got Mikki from Mag Park. He's one of the largest sneaker resellers in the world. He even has a collaboration with PacSun. And your favorite Instagram athlete may or may not be DMing his girl. In this episode, we'll find out. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. How was the trip up here?
Smooth. No traffic. Going up these hills is always exciting because you don't know if you're going to just crash into a car down the corner or...
Especially with the guys, he pulled up with a Tesla truck. So like if you're whipping the Tesla truck, the Cybertruck around these hills, it gets kind of crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the truck's a hit or miss in LA. You either get flipped off and then like by a Subaru or, you know, people like love you. So
they're honking and they love you.
Yeah.
It's one or the other.
It's one or the other.
Is that a real thing in LA? Like people harassing Tesla owners right now?
No, I pulled up to a valet and I saw a Tesla truck leaving and it had just gotten like tagged up. Like you're, you know.
Wait, why do they not like Teslas? What is it about Tesla?
I think it's in like an Elon thing and then it's like connected back to like, you know, some political stuff. And so I guess, you know, people not as intelligent people tend to associate a brand with, you know, the founder. And, you know, for me, when I got the truck or at least reserved it like a year or two before it came out, it was just looks like a big ass toy. Like, and it's safe. Yeah. You know, the way I looked at it was like, it was between that and a different car in that price point. And those other cars will get me followed home. So I'm gonna go with the alternative.
Calm.
Yes.
More calm. Like, can you tell the people why you got a haircut to wear a hat? Is that?
I mean, I think that's just an LA thing, you know.
That's what they do in LA, guys.
You want to have like a clean, you know, fade. You still don't want to be scruffy, and then I'm just like a hat guy, like that. That's by default. You know.
How much money has this colorway of hat made for you?
I don't want to put an exact number to it, but I will say, quantity wise and revenue wise, I think we've probably generated 3 to 4x more in headwear than we have in footwear. And we're a footwear store. Like that's what we're known for, I think first. And then in COVID, we kind of just transitioned into the fitted hat buzz that came from New York. I always shout out Hat Club. I always shout out the whole team up there that, you know, created the pink under brim and that whole wave. And even it sounds really funny saying this, but like, you know, we would get on FaceTimes and kind of get like the nod of respect, like, yo, we want to do the pink bottom, but we want to do it West Coast. Yeah. And my thought process around what's considered the pink mocha is essentially everybody would make hats that would match shoes, but it would always be super matchy.
Like so loud.
Like loud and just like your standard colors and no like sauce. Like the patch would always have the same 3 colors that were in the entire hat. And it wouldn't like stand out. And so I went about it in a manner where, you know, I wanted it to match, you know, a pair of shoes, but I didn't want it to like be so obvious. I wanted it to be more neutral and something that you could put across any outfit, any shoe. And it just hit. And so. Can
you tell the people how you got started? You have a sneaker store, Mag Park.
Yeah. So Mag Park, going on 10 years this August, which is insane. When I first got my start, I opened a store with my little brother, Andy, in an area called Granada Hills where we grew up. We started with a clothing line, like literally just clothing line, AKA screen printing on t-shirts and like biting, you know, logos. And, you know, we started with that small space. And then from there, like we didn't have a POS system. There was no Shopify. There was like, we did everything like handwritten sales and like literally like a lunchbox, you know, just collecting cash. And then a friend of mine at the time, I was playing a lot of basketball with him and he was like, yo, you've ever heard of Flight Club? Like, you know, you could do consignment where you don't have to put up the money. you collect these shoes and then you pay out a percentage and I was like, never heard of it. And I collected sneakers, but I didn't go shopping like that. And at the time, I think it was like Riff, Flight Club, and one other store that was doing consignment. I looked into the model, created it on Google Sheets, and then we started basically a consignment sneaker department in our small retail store called WAR, which stood for We Are Royalty. My last name in Spanish means war, translates to war. So that's kind of like where that acronym came through on my brother's clothing line. And so I was DJing. I was looking for something a little more chill because blacking out and, being out late, and it's like not a sustainable life. Yeah. And so I wanted to find something to transition to, and, supporting my brother and getting to family business was quote unquote, like the best and the worst decision I ever made because, working with family is difficult. Yeah. You are going to see eye to eye and then you're not, and that can turn really quickly. And so, that business lasted about, I would say 7 months before we decided to call it quits. My brother and I had some hard times, and I always tell him, like, I'd rather have you than have that business. And so fast forward today, we work together more closely. He helped with Mag. He still helps with Mag. And then he's with me at Ghost, which we can get into like later. But that's kind of where it really started with the sneaker resale start. And then when we left that chapter, I opened my own spot called Backside Kicks with another set of partners, bad partners. I learned really quickly how important partners are in everything. And so we continued to grow. In about 9 months, did about $600K in revenue off consignment. Like we didn't own a single pair of shoes, continued to do consignment. At the time it was like 10% was your standard. And we grew from 150 pairs of shoes from 3 friends to 1,200 pairs of shoes in those 9 months. And when everybody was discussing, all right, it's time to scale, like, what do we do? Rent's going up. We got to figure out what's next. And so my partners were a little greedy, and they were like, well, we want more. And I was like, I'm doing all the work. I would literally sleep there, go through breakup calls, go through whatever and like figure it out. Right. Like, and I was paying myself $12 an hour, and just thugging it out because I felt the vision of something larger than myself. And so I happened to have this investor walk in, and he gave me a metal card. Like, I'll never forget it.
Wow.
And
a metal business card.
Like a metal business card. And you're like, yo,
this guy's rich.
To make a metal business card, you're talking about $4 a unit minimum. Like, all I can think about is the cost of goods for this, right?
Like, who's he passing that out
right.
to?
Is it just anybody? And so he handed me this card. He was in like a white on white velour suit. Like, it was like out of a movie. And he's just like, if you ever need money, call me. Wow. And I'm just like, I don't need money that bad. Like, and down the road, there was a investment opportunity into some sneakers. It was out of our cash flow range, and I hit him up, and little did I know he was like kind of testing myself along with like 5 or 6 other stores to see who could convert cash back into like profits. And surely enough, it was between like us and another store, this other store, big reputation in LA, very well known. And we were like, oh yeah, we'll open a Valley version. For those that aren't from LA, there's like downtown LA, there's like Tokyo, a little Tokyo, everything above the hill, Beverly Hills, and then there's like the Valley. The Valley is like a little cheaper, a little bigger
like
land.
The suburbs.
Mostly suburbs, suburbs. And so in Burbank, the opportunity was just like, we could do a Valley version. And they were like, man, nobody's going to come shop at the Valley. Yeah. So I was like, cool. There came my opportunity. I got to invest the capital, and then I built Mag Park. This was August 2015, and I got on Shopify early on and just kind of went for it, and built this half-court basketball court in a store. And people were like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, this is so much square footage to take up for a quote unquote like experience.
You don't have product there. It's more of like a space.
Right. And like we had retail professionals come in and say like, you got to utilize this space. Yeah. Like, it's lost space. You could convert. And we're like, I was just like, fuck that. Like, I want to create an experience. Like, I think people will remember us for the experience. And, with the help of a couple good friends, Ben Baller was a very big advocate of us in the beginning that really kicked us off. And, when you could come in, try on a shoe, literally do a layup or like shoot some hoops, or whatever, right? Like, you're going to remember that. Yeah. And, I invited, local kids like, hey, if you got to do your homework, we'll help with your homework. We want to just because Magnolia Park, like if you played sports growing up, right, you would have that local park and rec.
So that's where the name comes from, as a park.
Exactly. Like, so all the elements are park. And so even when you're there, it's like the basketball court is an indoor court, because that's an homage to like one of the gyms I used to go to called the LA Athletic Club. And then, but everything else is dressed up as like outdoor gates. And so even our fixtures are outdoor gates, and there's like grass elements or murals that just remind you of that after school kind of like community center. And so really, community, which is funny because the first name I pitched for this project was Community Kicks. Everybody used to use like the Kicks thing.
Yeah.
I'm glad we didn't put ourselves in that corner.
I feel like Mag Park is way better than Community Kicks.
Yeah, it worked out.
Yeah.
And so then I rode with the story, with the community part of just having this park and rec called Magnolia Park. And, our 4 elements, like, because I was a DJ, so there's 4 elements to hip hop. I had 4 elements to Mag Park, which was art, music, hype, and sports. So that's like what combines who we are.
I feel like you had a lot of like partnerships, good and bad.
Yeah.
What were some things that you learned from that? Like what makes a good partnership and what makes a bad partnership?
I think a good partnership is, how like in relationships, people refer to like love languages. I think there's work languages. And I think there's the way that people prefer to communicate. Some people could be Slack, some could be email, some could be Canva, some could be text. Like some people aren't checking their emails. They just want text. You got to text somebody, you got to call them, right?
Yeah.
And so once you start to understand how everybody communicates, specifically at the leadership level, it's really different. Right. And as long as you can outline roles and responsibilities, because the other part of it is sometimes if you're not organized, it's just whoever picks up the shit first. Right. And so I think that component of it is really important at a partnership level. And then expectations, right? Like if you're coming into something, starting a business and wanting to turn a profit immediately, like you might not be the best partner. And typically a person who is contributing the least, puts in the least amount of money or whatever is always expecting the most. And so I think knowing what that looks like is really important. Bad partners is really simple to say. It's the opposite, right? Like people who don't communicate, people who don't assist. Like I've had partners who will help in the beginning. It's like, the honeymoon stage, like, this is hot and we're getting
everyone's high. Yeah. They're excited about the idea.
But then when you hit the fan and the economy's low and, COVID's happening and like, you know what the fuck's going to happen. Like, and then they disappear and it's on you. And now you got to do a school project and they got to get credit.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of got to learn, you just can't ditch them, unfortunately, because of paperwork. But I think you can see really quickly what are like some of the traits and attributions from people that would make sense.
I feel like a lot of brand owners struggle with that concept of balancing creating community, but also turning a profit.
Right.
How did you balance that when building Mag Park?
I always put it sounds super corny, but like I literally put the money last, like in the beginning, because in the beginning, if you're caught in the money part of it, obviously you got to be able to like stay alive. Right. But we also launched in an era where if you had the shoe, it would sell. If you were, as long as you were priced below Flight Club, it would sell. Like StockX wasn't StockX. It didn't exist. It was Campless. It was literally a Beckett or a Kelly Blue Book for shoes. So like prior to like any sort of like digital marketplace, you really were only competing with Flight Club. That was only like market comp that was easily available. From there, like it really just came down to, evolving and making sure that you're able to like pivot and not get stuck in your ways, because what worked last year is not going to work this year ever. And so, I think to balance the community side, it was really more around, I focused on them and what I can do for the community and what can I do for them to remember us and build loyalty versus like the profitability, because similar to many stores, like you really start to be as sharply priced as possible. And then eventually there's this like loyalty, or like they remember the brown bag, or they remember the shooting the layup, or, seeing us on a vlog. Shout out to Qias Omar. Like he was a very close friend. I'm still is a close friend. No beef there for anybody who wants to take that. We talk frequently, but he came and showed up when he had like 50,000 or like 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, and, evolved with us till he hit like 1 million plus. And so following along that storyline, and us getting better, it was like it eventually turned into like the revenue.
When did you start to pivot? Because I feel like now sneakers is like kind of burnt. So like everyone's selling Labubus.
Yeah.
Obviously you got into hats. Like when did you start to pivot the business model and get into like hats and get your partnership with PacSun?
Yeah, so I would say for sure it was COVID. I think it was a mixture of what everybody was doing in New York in the sense of like Hat Club and the hype that was being created. And then, you know, we always had a New Era relationship that was really strong. Shout out to my guy, Marco.
You were buying New Era from them, like wholesale?
So we used to be exclusive to Mitchell & S.
Okay.
And then my sales rep, who had a really good relationship, he always made sure to communicate over like, hey, by the way, so you know, there's these programs where you can do like a Nike ID basically, right? You can color up, you can design, you could pick a patch and like color it however you want.
And it's like only accessible to like certain people or certain retailers?
Most retailers have this account, but not everybody was taking advantage of it. And so when I first transitioned into New Era, which was a big props to my guy Marco, who when he left Mitchell & S, he went to New Era and he was just like, yo, I can get you guys on, we can open an account. I'm like, I don't know who the fuck's wearing fitteds. Like this is back into 2020.
That's when everyone's wearing fucking snapbacks and shit.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and Kill the Hype was running the scene. You know what I mean? And he still does. But it was like a different look, right? And so it was more of like an A-frame or whatever. And then fitteds got this new buzz, and I started working with Marco where we'd look in the catalog and I'm like, oh, I've never seen this patch, like this Dodgers patch. And I was like, all right, let's do that first World Champions patch. And we did it in like some basic like vintage colorways, green bottoms and like gold metallic embroidery. And then I was like, I don't know how many I'm gonna sell. I'm gonna do 36.
How much could you customize? Like, was it like you can customize the logo, you can customize the color? Like, was it like you could create something from scratch, or was it kind of like Nike ID where it's like only certain parts of the hat you can change?
So more like Nike ID where it's just like it's set what you can touch and where you can adjust. We do have access now to a different program that does allow us to customize almost anything.
Wow.
Yeah. We've been around long enough now and created a name enough for them to entrust us with the opportunities to do crazy shit. And so we take advantage of that sometimes. The thing is, that's a 6-month lead time program versus the other program is a 1 month if you want to airship or 3 months if you want to boat it. Option. And so we like to more like we try to turn faster.
Yeah.
Cause New Era is the king and you can't really work out terms with them all the time.
So you got to pay up front.
So you got to pay a lot of it up front or like the max you'll get is like a net 30. So it's like, why would I boat something, have it in 3 months and I pay for it in 30 days?
Cash flow's tight.
Cash flow is different. Right.
Yeah.
And so, but back in 2020, when we had this conversation, it really just comes down to like, oh, I saw Travis Mocha's coming and the Mocha 1 coming. And I was like, man, brown is such a neutral color. And, I started to design the first hat, which was like a brown, brown crown, brown brim, pink under brim. And then I was like, man, I don't know, too much brown. Like maybe nobody will rock with it. It's doing too much. So I was like, let's do two-tone, like brown and black brim. And then I was like, maybe we should play it safe and do an all black, but keep some brown tones. And I ended up making this 3-pack with him. You're locked up at home, like just like creating shit. And then went crazy on the patches and added all these different elements. And surely enough, it landed. And I'm thinking, I don't know if this is going to do well. And so I did 72 units of the brown, 72 units of the two-tone, and then 144 of the black. We drop it, and all I did was put the first pitch time of the Dodgers Rays World Series, and basically hinting that was our drop day. And first pitch hits, we launch, we sold out in 90 seconds.
Wow.
And I was like, what the fuck just happened?
What was retail on those?
At the time it was 50.
50.
Yeah.
And can you expose what like the wholesale price was?
Yeah, wholesale back then I believe was like 21 or 22.
So it's essentially double up.
Yeah, it's a double up. It's your traditional wholesale. You can probably mark it up. And so we're like, damn, like that's crazy. Like we got to run it back, right? Yeah. So of course, like let's run it up. So we put in another order. This time we double it. We launch it again. We sell out. of, what is it? Collectively another 600 units in 2 minutes. And we're like, and people on the street are now selling this pack.
They're reselling it.
That's the two-tone was going for $350. And then the brown was going for
$350 for one hat.
Yeah.
So they're buying it for $50 and making $300.
Yeah. They were crushing it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So when we saw this, obviously we were like, okay, we got something here. And so we ran it back. We did 600 more units. And then I always remember the story because I was at one of my best friend's bachelor parties in Palm Springs. And I get the screenshot. This like well-known hat store, like they strictly only sell hats. Started ordering our product off the catalog because once you design it,
it's open to everybody.
It's in the archive.
It's like free for all.
Basically,
like New Era's not giving that exclusively to you.
At this time, no. Later on, they would say, "Hey, every ID is now exclusive to
whoever made it."
But if you were like, "Oh, yo, I'm so and so store. Let me make this New Era flag white, but let's make everything else the same."
Yeah.
Then that would be considered a completely new design.
Wow.
But anyway,
they essentially backdoored you. You came up with the sauce.
They backdoored
you.
Yeah. And then they put up our hats for $80 retail. And I was like, yo, like, this is whack.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I was like in this situation. I was like, I don't know how to react. And so,
what'd you do? Send the goons after New Era?
No. So
you came knocking with the goons.
I always try to take the high road. So instead I saw it, I posted it, and I said, hey, if you guys want to buy our hat, you can get it from this website for $80. Stay tuned. Next post, I put up a pre-order for our hats for $55 shipped. Pre-order, and you get it from us direct from the source. And it's the most money we've ever made in 24 hours.
How many did you sell?
I'll say thousands
of
units.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did they cap you? Were they like, oh, we can't make that for you?
No, they didn't. Because I was asking as it was happening, and I was like, hey, what do you think is too much? And they were just like, oh, I don't know anything above 5,000 units. And I was like, okay. I'm like, well,
what about 2,500?
I'm like, we're like close to that. Like, I think they're like, I think we could push it through. And I was like, all right, fuck it. Like, let's just let it go and then see what happens. And surely enough, like, placed one of our largest orders ever. And it was like first time we did a pre-order situation, and literally changed our entire business model at that time.
And what about now? I see now you have like a collaboration, or what is it? Is it a collaboration with PacSun, or is it like your curated selection inside of PacSun, or what is the program?
Yeah, so I think both ways you're saying is actually right. It's a partnership with PacSun. It's called PS Reserve. And shout out to D-Murthy.
We actually met because of D.
We met because of D.
We met because of D. So
yeah. So D-Murthy, I always like to tell a story because it's such an LA story, but I go to one of these events that he was like moderating, and he's like, what are you about to do? Like, I'm just probably going to go home. He's like, oh, come to dinner, come hang out.
He loves dinner. Expensive ass fucking dinners.
Big dinner.
Delilah, the 4 or 5 digit dinners.
So literally went to Delilah.
See, he loves that shit.
And, my boy JC had just done the Urban Necessities, what was the story he did? American Eagle collab. And, I had so much love for him, props. I was happy for him. And then I felt like, I don't know if that meshes very well. I'm like, but PacSun would crush if it had some sort of footwear element. They had essentials rolling. They had all these license deals going. And so shout out to my guy, Alfred, who's now at Everlane, CEO of Everlane. Formerly
Wasn't he also CEO of Fear of God?
Yep. And so Alfred was at dinner. He was the CEO of PacSun at the time. And then we kind of just threw around this idea over dinner. Eventually turned into a meeting and then team. And the kind of tagline was like, we want to complete the fit at PacSun, right? You don't have to go anywhere else. Like, everybody was shopping for the clothes. Now, how do we get your shoe to be that, right? And COVID paused that. We had already planned it out prior. And then when we came out of COVID and we finally decided to launch it, it was funny because then now I'm kind of this like hat designer guy that people like are looking for. By that time I had like, a couple hats on StockX, still have some hats on StockX selling for $300-$400. And so they were like, hey, why don't you take over headwear for this partnership as well? So we launched basically Miki Guerra is how we have it titled, but like of Mag Park, PS Reserve, and then I curate footwear, apparel, and design headwear for them. And so the structure is really simple. I launched a wholesale company to like umbrella it. I sell them, I source product, authenticate it, and then, or design it and then sell it to them. And then they put it up for sale.
So it's like the hypey section of PacSun.
Exactly. Yeah. Like in the simplest form, that's basically what it is.
And how are you sourcing these shoes?
So it's a couple different ways. There's distributors, there's other wholesalers. I have really close friends of mine that were doing the wholesale business. And so they would sell me a couple hundred pairs of shoes per SKU.
Like the hype shit.
Hype stuff. At the time, White Cement 4s, Travis Scott Lows, Cool Gray 11s. This is like when we launched, right? And like Shattered Backboards, Core Purple 1s, like that era. We launched in, we just celebrated 4 years of doing this. So 2021. And it's funny, when we first launched PS Reserve, it was this whole thing. We had all these articles and we launched with like, I think it was like 500 items. And we're like, this should last us 2 months. We'll be good. It'll go. It was at resale prices and it sold out in 2 hours, like crazy. All of it. And we're like, because the first time you've ever seen Supreme and Jordans
inside of PacSun,
right? And so it sold out so quick and we're like, oh shit, we got to like replenish quick. Anyone who's ever worked with corporate companies, EDIs, fucking POs being cut, payment, all that stuff was like slow, right? So to replenish it took us almost a month just to be ready for it. And so, by default, I was like, 100 pairs flew. I'm like, how much do you guys have? 1,000 pairs?
Yeah.
And like anything else, right? The more you buy, the cheaper you get sometimes. And so I basically got into wholesale B2B distribution of like streetwear goods by doing that, right? Because PacSun's like, all right, we need more than 100, but I don't know if we need 1,000. We'll take 600. So then the 400, I would go and flip to other stores. And so I started feeding other stores, other resellers for like tighter margin, but I was moving quick. And so that's how I kind of got into like the wholesale B2B world. And eventually, PacSun was just basically my biggest anchor to any opportunity that I want to do.
What other stores or resale stores have you sold to?
I wouldn't out them, but I've did
your favorite one. So all your kids out there, if you go into a resale store at your mall, chances are this is the kingpin that sold it to the store.
Well, especially now, because now, and I can speak on this kind of lightly, but I'm with D at Ghost. I joined his team 2.5 years ago.
Was he slacking you? I saw on your Apple Watch.
Was he? He probably was.
I don't know. He's slacking you at 9 o'clock.
He's in Europe, so he's waking up, hitting me up for whatever we need.
Okay.
But he it's funny. I always tell the story too because it's true. But I was the first customer of Ghost, right? And at a streetwear level, and I bought some stuff and it was fake. And I was like, yo, if you're going to be in streetwear, you got to have somebody who can authenticate. You got to have this process. It's a big reputation thing. And, I said, if you need that help, I have a warehouse, I have a team, they authenticate, we can help source. And so that's kind of how I got my foot in the door there. And then by accident, just went in there, called myself director of streetwear. There was no department. I just went in there.
Yeah.
I said, put this on my business card. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And, first year, we basically, 50x their business year over year in that category. And then we 4x the year after that. We were getting into some pretty big numbers. And, it's public knowledge that Ghost has raised about 100 million since then in a Series C. So we've been very successful in building that out. I have a team of 2 other partners that help manage that category. And so the reason I bring all that up is because the stores that I've now distributed to
are through Ghost.
Is literally every store in the country you can think of.
If you guys don't know, Ghost is essentially a B2B platform. It's like Closeout. So if you think about goods that end up in Marshall, Ross, right? It's there's a huge business behind that. Ghost is supplying not only that, but also to resale stores, hype stores. And the guy who's running at DMing is actually our mentor and introduced us.
Yeah, full circle.
Full circle. So if you want to get in contact with D, he's very accessible. You just have to buy him $1,000 dinner at Delilah's.
Tequilas.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, like 10 tequilas. And you have to be ready to drink because this man is a fish. He's a fish.
He literally could swim in tequila. And just to explain it, like even simpler too, like think StockX but bulk.
Yeah.
Like you can make an offer, you can make a bid, or you can buy something straight up. I think the one thing that obviously separates us from everybody else is, who we deal with and the brands we work with, the retailers we work with, because of who we've raised money from, give us paperwork for everything. And so we work with a ton of streamers, a ton of stores. Authentication's not an issue. We're backed. And I would just think of it in that manner.
If you're lucky to get on a Ghost account and you go on there, you'll see some of your favorite brands. Obviously, we can't out them because they're part of the Illuminati, and if we out them, they're gonna come after us.
Yeah,
so
and
it's your favorite brand.
Exactly.
Literally.
Yeah, so it's invite only.
Yeah.
If you know E,
if you know, you know.
If you know E, maybe we could get you like past the fast pass. But
call Mikki if you need some access to crazy goods.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the fun stuff?
Yeah.
Who's DMing your girl?
Oh my God.
Who like crazy celeb, bro? I see on your close friends crazy celebrity, like crazy athletes.
I'm only gonna let you get this off real quick because it's funny. But yeah, I have like this like saga of close friends. I know you're fully like don't even know what the fuck's going on. But like I legit will post once a quarter.
Yeah.
But
they're crazy. Like the caliber of people in his girl's DMs is like insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Is your girl famous? Is she an actor?
No. So it's funny. She's great. When I met her, she didn't have like a lot of followers. It was like a private account. She's from Canada, so she has like no exposure to the BS that happens in LA.
All this disgusting shit out here.
Yeah. So like, it was like, okay, I met her. She came by the store. It's always been cool. And then as she became more of like public figure, being herself, curating outfits and things of that nature, obviously she's beautiful. So like that part works out. And, people start finding her on Explore page or whatever.
So what are the conversations? You guys sit in bed and she's like, look, babe. Is that what it is?
It kind of is. She's like, oh, look, isn't this guy your friend? Or like,
oh my God,
there's a lot crazy. Of this. Like, oh, weren't you just listening to this guy's album? Or like,
oh my God.
So like playlists are ruined. I can't watch F1. I can't watch a lot of soccer games. Like, it's like,
that should give you guys hints and clues.
That's, that's just like high level.
How do you not get insecure about that? Or how do you like?
No, like don't sign up for the job if you're not ready for it. Like
it comes with it.
It comes with it. It's a compliment, right? Like if you like, you see that I'm the guy, they might just think I'm like a sugar daddy or something, like rich sugar daddy. But it's like, it's all good. Like we keep good communication. And
what advice do you have for for me, I'm not the best looking guy. I kind of married up, right? What advice do you have for guys that are like, there's 5 dudes in here, maybe one of them is okay looking. So what advice do you have for them to like?
You're going to have everybody argue over who's the okay looking one.
Yeah. I won't look at them, but one of them is okay looking. The rest of them are,
No, I think, look, in that part of the world, I think, number one, focus on yourself and be the best version of you. I think you can't focus on someone until you're ready for yourself, right? And then you're at where you need to be. And then also, I think it's, just be genuine. Like, I think people, if they value the things that you can't control, like within your personality or who you are, then it's going to give you a lot of gray hair. Like it's going to stress you out, and stressing you out is only going to distract you. And I think, if you're a goal oriented or the things you want to do is in life, you want to like be successful. I always call them, the reason why they're for the streets is because those streets are a detour to where you want to go. And so I think, if you focus on yourself, find yourself a good partner, I think is probably the most important part of it, because that's also kind of a business, right? Understanding there's times where you can go to Italy if you plan it out properly and, you get points lined up and all that stuff, right? But you're not going to jump on a PJ and go do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
You could do that if you get to a certain level, but I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying, there's a type of girl that you probably want to have as a partner versus the rest.
So just work on yourself, do a lot of push-ups, make a lot of money.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm not fit. I mean, I play a lot of fucking sports. I feel like I'm healthy. I don't think a lot of people think I'm 40 years old. But you know, at the same time, like I just focused on myself, worked on like where I need to be. And, you know, the person I happen to be with was down to like figure out how to like help me level up. And she was a part of that. And I think that was important for me.
I love that. The Duke thing. How much was this guy on his story? Let me tell you this shit. This is the richest shit in the world I've ever seen. This guy went to the Duke University campus.
Yeah.
They had a whole draft.
Yeah.
They picked the team. You get a head coach. You get a highlight reel. You get a photographer. You damn near get cheerleaders.
Right.
Coach K is like watching.
Yeah.
And what is this? Like an old man Duke's Relive Your Dreams camp? Is that what it is?
So it's called the K Academy. My brother is a huge Dookie. Like he was like big Duke fan, JJ Redick days and on. And he sent me this like IG reel of going to K Academy. And basically it's a 35 and over basketball camp.
So Unk status, only Unks.
Unks for sure. Right. And all the way to like, I can't believe this guy's still running.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure there's
no age cap. So you could be 60, 70.
Bro, there's somebody that had gone for their 21st year. 21
years?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And like, it was crazy. And this is like my first time going. I went because, it happened to land on my 40th birthday. So that was like, it felt like it was written for that. But I waited for my brother to turn 35 for us to go together. And so we signed up. It's 13 grand.
13 grand for one person?
Yep.
13 grand? Does it come with like a custom pair of shoes? And
so it comes with a pair of basketball shoes, a pair of slides, and like all Nike gear for like 2 weeks. Duffel bag. They do your laundry. It comes with your room. It comes with food the entire time. So you do dinner, lunches, everything else. And then like 4 sets of jerseys. And then it's like you arrive, you check in, you get all your stuff. You go to a evaluation session of a 3-on-3, and all the coaches that are like scouting you and drafting you are former Duke players.
Oh,
so,
shit.
You know, Grayson Allen and like...
No way. Grayson Allen is the coach there?
He's one of the assistant coaches.
What the
Quinn
fuck?
Cook. Like, I just ran into Quinn in my...
Imagine Grayson Allen being like, 3-pointer A+.
Yeah.
Defense F.
Yeah.
Dribbling C.
Yeah.
Like,
and then like one of the, like the Boozer twins is like the next, probably first pick in the NBA draft.
Yeah.
Like they were there. They're one of the coaches.
Dude, that's crazy.
Cooper Flagg was a coach last season.
No way.
Seth Curry, like you can name them. Like it's literally like Duke champs and alumni. And then obviously Coach K's there. Like, and like,
what is he, like the referee or the head honcho?
If you're a basketball player, like, and you're with it, like Coach K's like
God,
literally.
He's God.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
I'm a damn near wanted to cry when I first met him and I'm a grown ass man. And it's just like one of those things, because like when I think about it, right, like out of all the legendary coaches who stuck it out to one college,
yeah,
like he's that guy.
I mean, he's goated.
Yeah.
He's like the LeBron James, Kobe Bryant of college basketball coaches.
Insane, right? And so, and by the way, one of the best shit talkers, such a cool dude.
Is he giving you guys like pep talks?
He's more talking shit. Like
what? Like you suck, you're shitty, why are you missing that shot?
So let me like break down the day real quick. But like we had the evaluation on day 1. Then at night you go to dinner. You have your number. Like if you've been playing there for 5 years, your number's hanging in the rafters. It's cool as fuck, right? But at that point you've dropped, $60K, right?
Yeah,
so you better have a jersey.
Drop $60K in like 4 points across 30 years.
And then you have dinner, and then it's draft night, and you get drafted onto your team. There's 160 people.
Oh my God.
And so you get drafted. Next day you have a practice first thing in the morning, and then a game. And then you play your first game, and you're literally playing 2 games a day until Championship Saturday. Championship Saturday, you have practice, film study, and
film study?
Yeah.
Yo, there's no way you're watching film of like 45-year-old dudes hooping.
Yeah.
And they're like, Grayson Allen's like, guys, you see guy at number 69, his left knee's weak.
Yeah.
Hit him in the, like, for real, they're doing that?
For real. I got all this on my I got meta glasses for the experience. I didn't get to like fully dock, but it was so much fun. And you're in the Duke locker room. Like you're where they're at, like, you know, doing through film study, you do all the like the cold plunge, the sauna, all the trainers do your physical therapy. Like you're literally a Duke player for a week. And, but anyway, yeah, you're playing, and honestly, like 6 games plus, potential to play 4 games to make it to the championship on Saturday in one day. Like, so 10 games potentially.
It's a lot. And how long are the games? Like 10-minute quarters, 15-minute quarters?
So it's a 12-minute first half and then a 15-minute second half.
Okay.
And the reason they do that is because every 4 minutes they rotate subs so that everybody can play.
Yeah.
And then the 15 minutes is like they has that 3-minute grace period so that you could put your best players in, because there is a little bit of strategy to it.
Yeah.
And so that's how they kind of set it up. But back to Coach K, the first time I talked to him through the camp was my first day there. In the second game, I'm in Cameron Indoor Stadium and you're playing, and we're down 2 with like a minute left, and coach calls a play for me and I didn't hit shit. Like I think I hit like a layup that game, and I was like struggling, and he calls a play for me and we run it to perfection. Guys like guarded me pretty tight, hit him with a step back 3, ends up winning the game.
Wow.
Coach K's like sitting courtside, and I'm like goosebumps, like win, right? Day's over. It was the last game of the day. Coach K comes up to me and I was like, not bad.
Wow.
And just like gives me like a little chest like punch. And I was like, damn. And my brother and I had a moment after the game. I was just like, I can't believe that just fucking happened.
That is crazy.
So it was a great run. We ended up going to the semis as rookies, my brother and I, and it was a blast. But it's a endurance thing more than it is a skill thing.
Yeah.
Like you could be a good hooper, whatever the fuck, but like, you know, one guy broke his elbow, another guy tore his ACL.
It gets serious.
Like, oh yeah, like the one dude broke his ankle at practice.
That's
like,
crazy.
It's just like bad. Like,
yeah.
And so,
I mean, yeah, when you put a bunch of 45-year-old dudes in a gym together, like that's what's going to happen.
On average. You know, at the same time, like you also become a part of the brotherhood, right? The alumni. And so you saw a couple guys that were there.
Jesse Itzler, right?
Yeah. He amazing. He's dope, like hustler.
But did he like
big rebounder?
Did he cross you up? Did he?
So I hit him with a step back, which is why he commented, I think, on the same comment.
The game winner step back?
No.
Okay.
It was like later down, but he would like everybody would call me like step back Mikki or something like that because I would do it a lot. But he was the coolest dude ever, and it's like I had no idea who he was. Rick Schnall, who like owns the Hornets, we're talking it up, going at it, like. You know, after the game, everybody's like, yeah, it's the owner of the Hornets that you were like,
that's crazy,
getting chirpy with. And he was like giving me compliments, and we're like, yo, we should hoop together outside of this. And like, I have no idea what he does. And it's literally everybody just leaves like who they are, what they do back at home. And it's like all about basketball.
And you're sleeping there for 2 weeks?
For a week.
A week.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was, I want to go again for sure. Like
how much is it? 15,000?
13. Well, after flights, like 15.
I'm about to start saving up an account.
Yeah.
And
Chris from Leverage says he's coming.
Bro, if Chris, I'm sorry. If Chris goes, Chris is smoking all y'all. I think so. You don't think so? Chris is
Chris is my guy. I will look at the camera. Chris, you're my guy. I love you to death, but he knows.
Okay, well, first of all, if you guys see his highlights, Mikki does have the craziest jumper, like the wettest jumper.
Ask Chris. I used to literally be every Wednesday at his hoop run.
So when Chris is posting all those stuff, he is just cap. It's just the highlights.
Chris is nice.
He's nice, right?
He's super nice.
He's doing spins.
We wouldn't guard each other. Like it's a whole different thing. But like, you know, like that's my dog. Like he holds it down. I mean,
how old is Chris for like 40 plus guy? He's pretty in shape.
He's crushing it.
Yeah.
He's an inspiration.
I mean, he's running fucking triathlons or marathons or whatever. So
no, he's a beast.
That's crazy.
I got nothing for left for Chris, but he knows out.
We gotta see that. Buckets. We gotta see that.
Yeah.
I feel like we've talked about a lot of your big W's.
Yeah.
Have you had any big setbacks or L's that you could talk about and what you've learned from those?
Tons. Where do you start? I would say the hardest one, and one of the greatest, I would say, gifts in my life is the ability to like not worry anymore, especially specifically the things that I can't control. And I think that's always one of the most difficult things in life, because, you know, I don't know, after hours, like you can't really worry about anything, right? Or if like payroll's due tomorrow and you ain't got enough money in the bank and it's after 5 o'clock, well, you can't deposit or wire or do nothing, right? So like, what's the point of like stressing from 5 to 9 tomorrow, right? So like, to be real specific. And so like, you know, one of the things is, you know, I try to think outside of the emotion, and that comes from, and I've shared this to some like colleagues and friends, but you know, I'm trying to remember the year, 2017 or 2018 now. I think it's 2018. It was probably the like worst week of my life. And I always point at that because whenever I think of a problem or something I'm in, I think about that time and I think like, it's not that bad. Right. And for context, and, you know, I'm not afraid to share it now because it's giving me, you know, the scars. Right. I had an investor come in after my initial investor, and they invested for about 50% of the company. And what I learned quickly was, you know, not everybody's motives or growth strategy are going to align. And, you know, he was an overseas guy. So the strategy there was spend as much money as you can to grow as fast as you can. And if you run out of money, we got more money. The thing is, if it's not on paper, that's not true. And so we ran out of money. We asked for more money and they're like, we're not going to give you nothing else. And we kind of did an audit. Things were really bad because we were a consignment store. We were also selling goods that we weren't paying for up front, right? We'd pay them out as we reconcile weekly. And they made a decision to no longer pay out consigners. And then they also made a decision to not pay payroll. And I was like,
that's like easy to do if you're overseas and not the one running the business.
Right. Exactly. So like if you're looking at just numbers, right? And so they put me in a tough spot where like I literally liquidated everything personally that I had just to like cover people, payroll, cover consigners, and figure it out at the time. And I did this in private, right? Like it's not something that I was obviously proud of at the time, nor did I know how to manage or facilitate that. So the closest I could get to my partner, like the actual partner, right, was in Japan. And so I flew my ass to Japan, broke as fuck, like had given every dollar to everybody like that I had to like, quote unquote, like speak to and figure out. And he looks at me and he's like, I could either sue you or you can take on this company debt. And he's like, $1 million doesn't ruin my week, is what he told me. He goes, and I think you have the potential to be a good like partner one day. He goes, but we have to like either delete you or sue you. And I said, I'll take on all the debt. I'll figure it out. And, you know, even though I didn't have it figured out, right? Fly back. We had just gotten broken into. So for the third time. And so that flight back after getting broken into, after basically breaking it with your partner and them saying basically you're on your own and inheriting, like I would call it, let's just call it $1.5 million in debt that you didn't know about.
Or was it like credit cards?
Sales tax not being paid, which
it's a big one.
That was a huge one because they don't fuck around.
They're going to take it.
They're just going to take it. As soon as they see it, they're going to take it.
Yeah.
And our insurance was playing games with our policy and they didn't want to pay us out. I went back from Japan to LA, as they say, raw, right? No Wi-Fi, no phone, just thoughts and sadness, tears. Landed. Next day, we sign off all the responsibilities. Everybody resigns. I take over. And it's just me and my staff. And a day later, I find out my long-term relationship girlfriend had just passed away. And it was like the freshest relationship I had at the time. And, you know, she took her own life. And it was like when I say the darkest moment of my life, like, and I didn't know what to do. And I just prayed on it. And like 2 days later, 2 insurance checks hit, like show up. And I was like, okay, this gives me enough to like, I talked to every single person that we owed money. And I just said, hey, just give me time. I promise you I'll make it right. Like, I don't care what it takes. We'll figure it out. And some people were receptive to that conversation. Some people wanted to sue me. Some people threatened my family. Like, and I remember them all. And I made everybody right. And I made everybody whole. And it took a lot. And, you know, fortunately enough, Q4 hits. That's where you make all your money as a retail business. And I got creative. Shout out to Shopify. Did a bunch of bad Shopify capital loans.
Yeah, those
they're terrible.
We might get sponsored by them, so I can't say anything. But
No, love Shopify.
Yes,
they're super helpful. If you have
love Shopify, by the way, love Shopify, the best,
listen,
the best.
I'm still
the
on
best.
Shopify. They are the best.
Same. We love Shopify. We're Shopify fans.
Yeah, but you could talk about loans in general too.
I think in general, you should always just educate yourself on loan options.
Yes.
Shopify Capital is amazing. If you don't need to give proof of funds or credit or
It's
whatever.
a little sketchy because most loans aren't necessarily your payment processors as well, right?
Right.
That's where it gets a little
How
weird.
does it work? It comes out of your daily sales, right?
Yeah. So like, let's say you take a Shopify loan, right? If you were to get a loan from a bank, it's on you to pay back the loan, right?
Yeah.
But when you take a Shopify payout, essentially they have access to all your payouts.
It's automatically taken.
They're shaving it off. They're taking it off the top. They're taking it, whether you consent to it or not. So it's good if you don't have credit or if you don't have like traditional
or
loans,
file your taxes or pay your taxes or
if you can't get a line of credit anywhere else. But I wouldn't say it's predatory, but it's just
beginners.
They're better options.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah. There's cheaper options, I'll say.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think, but if you're in a tough spot, listen, I still to this day, I always joke around with some of the Shopify reps and I say, I'm pretty sure I hold the record for the most Shopify capital loans because that literally got me through 2018, 2019, and the first 2 to 3 months of 2020. Then COVID happened, which for a business, kind of like one of the largest blessings, because for someone who my mental coach, who I brag about, like, he helped me elevate like how I think of things, how I appreciate things, how I slow down. COVID, what happened was sales tax people were out. They're not in the office, so they can't come after me. All these other people who were like actively working to like come after me, everything paused. And it allowed for me to just stop, not have to worry about which fire to take out, and then just like strategize. And it gave me a couple days, a week to like really focus and figure out what was the most important. And then from there, literally like, you know, changed my life. And then opportunities, of course, with headwear, eventually PacSun, wholesale, led into Ghost, and then so forth. So, you know, I would say that that was kind of like turning that moment, and now having that as my reference point of, it's not that bad.
Yeah. It can't get worse than this.
No, I hope not.
Yeah. Knock on wood. When you were in that place, how did you get out of that mentally? Because I feel like mentally, it's just like, it's such a devastating place to be. I mean, you're losing everything financially, your relationships. How do you frame your mindset and how do you like frame it to like, yo, I can get out of this?
For me, it was really just talking to the people that I love. I'm fortunate. Not everybody has this, but like have a very close knit family of entrepreneurs who have gone through many things, through discovery. My parents have been in real estate and they never told us that they lost a house in the 2008 situation. And, you know, I shared with them my struggles and they've always been there like, yo, like give it time. It'll work out. Right. And I'm fortunate to have that. And I was also fortunate enough to meet with my mental coach. Shout out to Matthew. I introduced him to a couple friends and now like he works with like literally everybody I know in the industry, to just help kind of take yourself out of the game, right? Like the game is the business. And if you're able to just like take yourself out of it, right? And like look at what's going on, like what is really going to impact your life? Because I would put so much energy or value in the things that really wouldn't make a greater impact, right? And if you're able to create these, like, call it like categories, right? Like, what is something that is low energy but high impact in your life that you should go attack immediately? And then what's low impact to your life and high energy and is not going to do much to your life, but you, for whatever reason, value it the same as everything else? Leave that to the back, because it's not going to impact your life. You may think it is, or it's not the time for it. So I started to just really break down, like, changing things in my life and how they would impact it and how much energy it took. And then basically giving a score of, like, how important it is for me to get that done.
So can you give me an example of what you said, low impact, high energy? Can you give me a practical example of that? What is that, like owing somebody money? Or
I would put that probably in the middle, because I feel like owing people money.
It's pretty,
I guess it would depend on also the urgency of that person.
Yeah.
Right. Because the urgency of that person or their understanding, right, could be, I would say, probably requires low energy because they're not really pressing you for it.
Yeah.
But there's I would, just to start on the opposite side, where it's like low energy, high impact, is like the kid that used to work for me that I owed him $200, and he wants to go on Facebook groups and drag me through the mud because he's like, he owes everybody money. He's doing dirty business and he's a piece of shit person and da 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 da. I could figure out $200.
Yeah.
So that doesn't happen. Right. And so on the opposite side, I would say it's probably something like designing my next collection is less important if I have to, like, put out a bunch of other fires. Like, that's low impact, but it's also not going to happen until 3 months from now. So why should I worry about it now? You know,
it's kind of ranking your problems into, like, what's really important and what can wait, and then figuring out what's the really important shit now, fixing that, and then trickling down.
Yeah.
Wow. That's very interesting.
So I try to practice that still. Now I'm finding more of myself trying to value, like, my yeses and nos, because I love to help people and I love to, outside of everything else that I'm doing, I still consult or sample or manufacture, like, lines for gyms and restaurants and things of that nature off to the side. Does that make me a lot of money? Like, it's decent, but it's like, but it makes me happy because it's like somebody else's baby that we get to, like, educate them on what the best option is.
Yeah.
Or trying to, like, the store, it's funny enough, is like, it's what I'm known for the most, and it costs me the most money. Like, it loses me the most money to this day. Right. And that's more because I believe in it. And I think we're just in a wave, right? Like, retail in general is just in a tough spot. And we've pivoted, like, we've done live streaming, we do Whatnot, we do all the different marketplaces. Like, we're not one channel. We're trying to find all the different verticals. I feel like we dropped the ball when it came to just doing more social media and things of that nature while we had the momentum. And so, just finding ways to continue to expand on what that is. But that's why MAG for me is like, for me personally, MAG is high energy, low impact to my, like, personal life, but it's my baby.
Yeah.
So it's like, I still do what I can to, like, elevate it as much as I can.
Last question. I feel like you've lived, like, an incredible life. You've had a lot of ups, a lot of downs. You've put up the game-winning shots next to Coach K. You have a
highlight of my life.
High-level people DMing your girl. You got you came out of near bankrupt. You did all this stuff. What's one advice you would give to the 18-year-old version of yourself?
That's a great question. And channeling what I was doing at that time, it was funny. At 18, I was a realtor. I got my real estate license, and I did 1 year of real estate, and I got bored of working on my MySpace in between clients, and ended up going into being a DJ. Yeah, and did that for years. I DJed for 10 years, headlined Vegas, had billboards, like whole different life, right? Like, as I explained before, retail. So if I had to speak to that Mikki, I think it would just be stay focused on the road that you want to, like, the destination. Like, I think the distractions that were there because like I get bored really quick, like, and of routine. Like I really like being able to pivot, be spontaneous, and you know, kind of create things from scratch, and then eventually put it in the right hands that are responsible to push it further. And so I think for me, it's like, just don't limit yourself. I think I always thought of whatever I was doing was the furthest I can go. And that probably limited my success early on to what else I could do. Cause it's funny. I went on this DJ podcast and I thought about it. Like DJs live such a fucking wild life.
Yeah.
Like you work for max 4 hours, right? In a single night. Yeah. And that's if you're working, and if you're like an active DJ, right? You're working max 3 to 4 nights a week, right? So 16 hours in a week. And the rest of the time you're fucking doing nothing. Like like for the most part, like all my friends, I'm like, would sleep in till fucking 3 o'clock and go fucking eat and mess around with maybe Pro Tools or some shit, trying to get into their producer bag or whatever. But for the most part, they're doing nothing to like elevate their life. And I'm thinking, I always thought like, man, like if you would have just spent time educating yourself, or man, took one of your gigs and put it into the S&P, or like all this boring shit. All the boring shit is what really makes your life successful. Like it's the fun stuff that ends up costing you
fucking your shit up
the most.
Yeah.
You know, when you think about it, high risk opportunities, high risk investments, all that shit ends up usually giving you a lesson more than it does like the greater success of things.
It's a great advice.
Thanks.
Guys, do the boring shit. Don't do the fun shit. Stop beating your meat. Learn from the podcast. You know, we stay giving y'all free game.